Hello, Wagwan. Welcome to Design to Win, the program where we give you the roadmap to win at life with a little Caribbean flavor. I'm your host, C. Ruth Taylor, and today we have a very special guest. We're going to be talking about going after your dreams despite the odds. In 2019, July 2019, the Nurses Association of Jamaica presented an award to Mavarene Davy-Gordon in appreciation for her service to nursing, going beyond the call of duty. And today she's here to tell us how she got to this place and what this award meant. You don't want to miss this program because you're going to learn that life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by design. Nurse Davy-Gordon, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have her. And this is a very special episode because she is not just Nurse Davy-Gordon. She is my mom and she has a fascinating story. So tell us about your journey. How did you become a nurse?
Well, ever since I was 8 years old, I wanted to become a nurse. My mother and my father was very poor. And so because of their poor condition, and they did not know the values of education, I was not able to reach that goal during my childhood. But as I become an adult, I still wanted to become a nurse. So I did many odd jobs, but I did them well too. But despite that, like dressmaking, working in the garment factory, even a little selling downtown. But everything I put my hand to, I did it well. Growing up, I still wanted to become a nurse, and that was my ambition. So at the age of 38, I decided to pursue the subjects that would take me in to become a registered nurse. However, in 1992, I started out the practical nursing training at the Wilmot School of Nursing, and I got a diploma in geriatric nursing. And from there, I did several home care, and then I got a job at the Kingston Public Hospital as a ward assistant, now known as a patient care assistant. This job I did to the best of my ability for approximately 12 years. During this time, I not only, acquire the skills, you keep practicing and practicing with the nurses that, are at the top, getting the experience, because this is Kingston Public Hospital where all sorts of experience. I was one of the patient care assistants who would always go beyond the call of duty, do things extraordinary as if I was a registered nurse. However, because I have my intention, I would always stay by the nurses and help them to do what they are doing, getting these hands-on experience, but nobody knows what is at the back of my brain, because I tell myself that I have to become a registered nurse. I remember telling my pastor that if it is one day until I die, I am going to become a registered nurse. And so whatever I do at the back of my head was propelling me to fulfill my dream. It took me about 7 years to acquire the subjects that would take me in to become a registered nurse. But I constantly pursuing doing I think I did English language about 7 times, but I would not give up. So at the age of 42, I've acquired the subject, and I decided that I would enroll in a registered nursing school. And the Brownstown Community College was where I was enrolled to become the registered nurse. I did not even know much about the college, but hearing that this college, the space was available here, I made myself available, and the preceptor at the time coached me into what was necessary. In 2005, I was enrolled at the Brownstown Community College at the Wesley campus, like a testing campus to see if the degree in nursing course could be done in 3 years. And so I was enrolled there, not knowing that it was a part of the University of the West Indies, because my ambition from 8-year-old was to become a nurse and become the top level nurse and to attend the University of the West Indies. And so I accept the position there and I started school. The course lasted for 3 years, but it was at the end of the first year that I recognized that I was really at the University of the West Indies, because it was one of their feeder campus off campus. I didn't even have the money, but guess what? Because of the hard work and dedication that I've put in at my workplace, they were able to sponsor me for that 3 years. I got 2 years worth of salary at my level as a patient care assistant, 1 year without pay, and my 3-year tuition was paid. At the end of my 3 years training, I was able to accomplish my dream as a registered nurse. And not only just a registered nurse, but moving from the patient care assistant in that 3 years, in completion, they have awarded me upper second class honors in nursing. From there, I still, I wanted to become the top level nurse. So 2 years after, I did nephrology nursing. This is a specialist area for nurse. And so I did the nephrology nursing and decided, that was about when I was about 50 years old. And then I said, I'm not going back to school. But the zeal to become the top level nurse, again, I went back to school at the age of 52 or thereabout, and I did the midwifery. That's another specialist area where we specialize in the delivery of babies and so forth. Continuing to do my job and aspiring to become the top level nursing. In 2019 also, I did the nursing administration course, and now I am a nurse administrator at the 3rd level, and I now supervises the night shift, getting to the top level. My aspiration, however, is to do my degree, my master's in nursing, and at my age at 56, I wanted to do my master's in nursing, and then to continue to mentor and to help the younger generation to keep the nursing profession afloat, leaving resources for tomorrow.
Wow, that's a fascinating journey. So from the age of 8, you wanted to become a nurse, and a registered nurse, and graduate from the University of the West Indies. And having become a registered nurse with a bachelor's degree in nursing, you did not stop there. You decided to learn more, to become more. And tell us a little bit more about some of the challenges. Why did it take you 37 years to attain this dream? What were some of the obstacles you faced along the way, and what did you do to overcome them?
Well, it took me such a long time. As I said, my parents could not afford it, and they did not know. I grew up with a single parent, a mother of 9, single parent. My father was not there at any time. And my mother, even though she sent us to school, she didn't know that higher learning would mean so much, or maybe she could not afford it. I've not questioned her since. Okay, at the age of about 20, at the age of 17, I got pregnant. I had my first child, and at the age of 23, I ended up with 3 children. How I get to know that education was important and that can take me to where, any high level. I'm always the child that would want to speak to persons who have attained, whether it be a teacher, a nurse, or any respected person. I would have always gone to them for advice. And I love the elderly, and the elderly who I associate with at that time, they were the person who, see my potential, always telling me that you can make it. And I will always ask them what is it that they have done, even though they become an adult, to reach where they are. And so I have emulated some of their principles. I have one such lady that I'll never forget, and is my daughter's grandmother, Miss Hetta, who did not become a teacher as a teenager, but after she have about 3 of her children, she told me how she goes to evening classes, get her JC, and from there she move up to where she is. So it is possible for me too. So she was one of my role model and inspiration.
Okay, so we are hearing some of the secrets to success. You have to see where you want to go, and then if you have role models, people to support you, to inspire you, one of the keys to get to where you want to be is you see somebody who is already there and ask them about the journey. Dave Ramsey would say, if you want to be rich, study rich people. If you want to be skinny, study skinny people. So a part of the key to her success is asking persons who are further along the journey, what could she do? And we hear another key coming out in that there were persons who identified her potential. If you want to get to the next level and fulfill your dream, I pray that the Lord would send people who would help you to identify that potential. And then she had this determination. She said she did English about 7 times before she passed it. And I just want to hear from you. If there are young persons out there going through a hard time, maybe a teenage mother or whatever it is, because in your 30s, late 30s, to decide to go back to school, it took a lot. How did that impact on your children? What did you do to ensure that they were taken care of so that you could pursue your dream? Because I know that there are many persons, parents who want to go after things, but know that they have the children. So how did you handle that challenge?
We are never alone. There are many people I could call their name today who support me, and I'm not talking about it's not the big things. There was this woman who named Nurse. We called her Nursey. She would when I'm going out to work in the day, she would take care of the children. So I would make sure that I prepare their breakfast, whatever it needs. She would have provided a secure home, and that was what important to me. She would have provided a secure home for the children. So no matter what, even though she was not cooking, she was not washing, once I leave the children there, I know they were safe. And that is to go to work. But the day I tell her that I wanted to do more and go back to evening class, she said, no problem, man, bring the children them. Education is what matter. Whether you have the money, yes or no, and when you have it, you give it to me. And so she was kind enough again that after coming from work and preparing their dinner or whatever, she wanted to stay with them. She would be willing to stay with them until from 7 to 9 o'clock while I pursue a practical nursing course for 2 years. And she helped me with that. And also, sometimes, when you don't even know when you're pursuing your dream as a practical nurse. Because what happened? The tutor who taught me to be a practical nurse was a registered nurse who met some misfortune. When she was at the age of 30, she became crippled, right? She couldn't walk. But despite the obstacle, she was able to instill nursing in a whole lot of us. I'm one of the recipients, and I remember going to her class 2 hours from 7 to 9 o'clock for 2 years, pursuing the geriatric nursing course so that I could become the patient care assistant. And I tell you the truth, that woman was so good to me, and it was so divine, because it was after finishing the course that I was able to get a practical nurse job to go back and to pay her for the tuition.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So along the way, there are miracles. And even her story, we're learning from her story. So she had a misfortune, became crippled, and she refused to give up on life. She didn't just sit there and die. So she had a disability, but her brain was still functioning, and she turned her home into a nursing school so that you could benefit. That is so inspirational. If you're going after your dream, where there is a will, there will be a way. And look at the persons that God sent along. So part of you being able to go after your dream is that you had support. You didn't do it alone. You had support. But I know there's a story I want you to share before we close about when you were at my school. What caused you at 37? So those were in the early age. What caused you at 37 to say, I can do this? What happened at Meadowbrook High School?
Okay, no, I was always the parent, the mother, because I know the value of education and I wanted the best for my children. They were brilliant. And so while my daughter was going to Meadowbrook High School, there was PTA meeting and I always attended the PTA meeting. But one day I was at the PTA meeting and I remember they had a inspirational speaker. And her topic the afternoon, I heard she distinctly said, "You mothers, I don't want to hear you say that because of children, you don't get where you want to go." In other words, she was saying, if you earn $5, spend two on the children and two on yourself. Somehow that registered in my brain. And I said, yes, since I was brilliant and the children are doing so well, that is what I'm going to do. So that statement endorse what I want to be, and it's like the best thing you wanted to hear, that it is possible. And somebody with a positive speech that day touched my life. And so as I begin to work and I spend on the children, I put aside a little bit, no matter how little it was, to ensure that I become the nurse that I wanted to be. And so, the story goes on in a lot of things, but hearing that story now and working at KPH as a patient care assistant was where I gradually put aside things. So that was where I could able to pay for some evening classes while I study on my own some of the subjects. And also, when I have receive all the subjects and I decided that the children grow up now, they finish college and whatever, I save a year worth of my school fee and said, whether or not, I don't know where the other 3 years is coming from, where the boarding fee will be coming from, but I pay my first year worth of school fee and head on into school. The Lord will provide, just because of what the lady says.
Wow. That is awesome. So one word can change your life. And that's what we want to do with Design to Win. We want to share with you stories and strategies. And when we interview these persons, it is with the hope that even one word said will inspire you and change your life. So you have an awesome story. Can you tell us a little bit now about your current responsibilities? And then after that, any last word of encouragement? Because this is a season where people are planning for the next year, and 2020 has been a difficult year, and they want 2021 to be better, and you've had a lot of challenges. So what are your current responsibilities, and what word of advice would you give to someone who is going through challenges and still has that childhood dream and you want them to go after it?
Well, I wanted to be not only one who speaks, but my lifestyle is one that I said would depict and emulate, the perfect plan. With all of this, the Bible, Jesus was a perfect example. When he was on earth, he walked the talk and he behaved in the same way. Likewise, I'm a Christian also, and I have a strong faith in God. And so, despite the difficult challenge, I'm now a night supervisor who meant what I did in the night is now part of at the administrative level, is to see that the nurses are placed appropriately, to ensure that patients get the appropriate care, to mentor others, and to in the heart of resolving any conflict that develops between, and as a good manager, so that we can meet the common goal, represent nursing well, represent the organization well, represent people. And anybody out there, don't be afraid of where you are coming from, because sometimes, and I can tell you, starting from the lower level, I can identify what seems like obstacle to others. To me now, it's like nothing, because I've walked the path. I know what it is to suffer. I know what it is for your childhood dream to become stagnant. I know what it is to jump the hurdles, and to move on despite. And I'm leaving one word with you today. Whatever job you get to do it well. because it was doing the job that I had well that I was able to gain recognition from people. If people allow you into their home, be honest, be open, do things well, because of that they can recommend you, they can invest in you. Do it as if you are doing it to Jesus Christ. And so when you are not expecting, the reward will come, because it is in doing my job well, respecting people, where I was able to get the award from the Nursing Council of Jamaica. As people give to me, I give back. And so that award came to me by giving back, right? And I was able to be at the place where the Nursing Council of Jamaica can recognize me despite the hardship. Once it was not that, but because I plan to move up the ladder, continue to design what you want your life to be and move towards it. That is at the time that you are able to get your reward. And it is after like 12 years as a registered nurse that I get this reward. It was not immediate. And there were 13 years of doing the practical side of nursing. And you didn't see this reward coming. But as you continue to do well and propel despite obstacles to get where you want, life doesn't get better by
chance. It gets better by design. Thank you so much, Nurse Gordon. I'm sure this episode is going to inspire others as it has inspired me as her daughter. So whenever I'm facing obstacles, I always remember her story, because success is not overnight. Strong trees don't grow overnight. So I want to thank Nurse Davy for coming and sharing her very inspirational story. And at 57, she's not done yet. She's planning to go back to do her master's, because she still wants to be at the highest level. So listeners, share this episode with others. I'm sure you can learn a lot. If you're a parent, it's not too late to go after your dreams. So as we close out the show, I'm going to say the quote again, which is my mantra for life. Life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by design. Carefully designed to win. And put your right hand over your heart and say after me, there's greatness in me. It's possible to live my dreams. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. With faith, courage, and consistent action, I'm going to make it. It's not over until I win. Ta for now. Until next time.